Now let's study reducing algebraic fractions. We're going to look at algebraic fractions that have linear expressions in them, and we're going to look at the ones with non-linear expressions. I'm using non-linear because it could be quadratic or it could be polynomial. Now when we're dealing with algebraic fractions, we're going to identify the greatest common factor of every term in the fraction, and then we're going to divide the numerator and the denominator by this greatest common factor, and thereafter simplify the fraction. So if we look at 6, 12, 8, and 18, we can see that the greatest, if you apply the methods, there's a video that covers this in detail. If we want to look at the greatest common factor here, we can see that the greatest common factor of 6, 12, 8, and 18, that should give us 2. And so we're going to divide each term by 2. So this is going to give us, if you want to understand how to factor, there's also a video that covers that. This will give us 3x plus 6. And then we have 2 here, 4x plus 9. So 2 crosses out 2. So that's going to give us 3x plus 6 over 4x plus 9. Another example, we look at this right here, 9, 24, 6, 16. Let's look at it from this perspective. I'm going to look at the greatest common factor of this term here. That's going to give us 3. And then I have 3x plus 8. And then I look at the bottom here, that's going to be 2. And then we end up with 3x plus 8. In this case, 3x plus 8 and 3x plus 8 are common. So we're left with 3 over 2 as our simplified fraction. Okay, now we're dealing with non-linear expressions. For these questions, I'm not going to try to factor quadratics or anything of that sort. We're just simplifying the linear fractions. So I'm going to look at the greatest common factor here. That should give us 9, and then I have x squared plus 3, and then at the bottom we have 3, that's 2x plus 5. So now we can see 9 and 3, 9 divided by 3, that gives us 3. So that's going to give us x squared plus 3 over 2x plus 5. Now we have this is a quadratic form of an equation here. And we're going to factor that. So 5x squared, 30xy, and 15x. Safe to assume that 5x is a common factor. So that's going to give us x plus 6y plus 3 over 5, and then 5x plus 13. So 5x divided by 5, that gives us x plus 6y plus 3 over 5x plus 13. Now, some may prefer that you distribute x into this expression. You can if that's what the question calls for, but just for this purpose of this demonstration, this is how you reduce algebraic fractions.